Coming up on Around San Diego, 4 astronauts splashed down off the coast of San Diego following a medical evacuation, what we know about their journey. Plus, flooded by water rate hikes, the new city proposal that could double your water bill by 2031. And people caught on camera train surfing right in Del Mar, what witnesses had to say. Hello and welcome to you. Thank you so much for joining us as we take you around San Diego. I'm CBS 8's Jenny Day, and I'll get you caught up on our top stories of the week so far, and we'll look ahead at what's to come around San Diego. We do begin with local Iranians who are fearful the death toll there will continue to climb during these ongoing anti-government protests that have deeply impacted that country and many here. As CBS 8's Steve Price reports, they say the government there has shown no sign of being willing to negotiate with protesters and have continued to open fire on large crowds.
Iran's government continues to shut down that country's internet. The blackout making it difficult for San Diegans to contact loved ones, find out if they're okay or even still alive. The fear the government is using these blackouts to massacre protesters in the streets. The death toll overnight went from hundreds to thousands, maybe tens of thousands.
Nobody's been able to give me an accurate number.
Even President Trump has no idea.
They're genocidal. They don't care about anything.
Kamran Amin Taheri, a San Diegan who was born in Iran, says despite the government opening fire on protesters with military-grade weapons, people there are not giving up the fight for freedom, and he couldn't be prouder.
You see brave young people who don't care if they die or not. They go there. They're the voice of us. They're the voice of Iran.
It started last month as an economic protest, but quickly escalated over frustration with skyrocketing food prices, the continued suppression of women, and high unemployment.
You're really starting these people, seeing these young Iranians, these bright Iranians, coming to a point of desperation and breaking point where they're no longer going to put up with it. They know that nothing better is coming unless they start it themselves.
Bear Borhani is thankful President Trump is monitoring the situation in Iran, but hopes he uses diplomatic isolation, including tariffs against countries doing business with Iran, over direct intervention, which he thinks could lead to a lot more bloodshed.
The regime has used that as a way to reframe these people-led uprisings as a foreign attack, and they use that to further justify their repression, their massacres.
As for what San Diegans can do, local Iranians say attending rallies like this one last weekend in Claremont is helpful to show those fighting in Iran that many Americans support their ultimate goal.
We want Khamenei to know that this generation will take him out for good.
Steve Price, CBS 8.
Steve, thanks. And all of that comes as a former Navy SEAL was convicted of plotting to attack San Diego police during last summer's No King's Day protests. Prosecutors say Gregory Vandenberg bought high-powered fireworks in New Mexico, planning to throw them at officers in San Diego. Store employees tipped off police after he asked about their potential to cause harm and asked a clerk to join him. He was arrested in Arizona, where investigators say they found the fireworks, extremist clothing, and also messages expressing anger toward the government. Vandenberg faces up to 10 years in prison. Well, lawmakers are sounding the alarm about the rapid expansion of AI data centers and the massive energy demands to power them. They are concerned that citizens could be left to pay their utility bills. Now, North County Congressman Mike Levin this week introduced the SHIELD Act to a national bill that would protect consumers from energy rate hikes linked to the growing number of those data centers. And a former San Diego-based Navy sailor convicted of selling military secrets to China will spend 16 years in prison. Jin Chao Wei was arrested in 2023. At trial, prosecutors presented evidence that Wei was paid thousands of dollars to send photos and videos of the USS Essex, share the location of various Navy ships, and send technical manuals for at least 30 weapons, aircraft, and ship elements. A jury found found him guilty of 6 espionage-related crimes. And former Poway City Councilman Tony Blaine is pleading not guilty to charges of perjury and soliciting bribes. Blaine entered the plea this week. He resigned last November after about 80% of voters in his district voted to recall him. An election to fill Blaine's seat will be held June 2nd. And we are now starting to see the potential impact of the new parking fees at Balboa Park. We checked Balboa Park on Free Museum Tuesday, just 1 week after paid parking began, and crowds were nowhere to be seen. At the Comic-Con Museum, staff say there were no lines when there typically are.
You know, it's a public park, so it should be free public parking. I think once people fall out of the routine of doing something every day, they're going to find new stuff to do.
Yeah, nearby restaurants like Panama 66 and the Prado were also quieter. While January is typically slower, workers say this drop-off is unusual and may be tied to those new parking fees. So mayors from across San Diego County are actually now joining the fight against those controversial parking fees at Balboa Park. Mayors from Escondido, El Cajon, Chula Vista, San Marcos, and Coronado held a news conference arguing the charges are unfair to their residents who regularly visit the park.
This is not about politics. It's about public access, and it's about fairness. And it's about recognizing Balboa Park is a regional treasure and not just a budget tool.
When asked, however, if they would contribute their own budgets to maintain Balboa Park, none of the mayors did commit to doing so. Well, 4 NASA astronauts have safely returned to Earth following a 167-day mission in space. Just after midnight Thursday, the SpaceX Dragon spacecraft splashed down off the coast of San Diego. The mission returned to Earth earlier than originally planned as teams monitored a medical concern with a crew member living and working aboard the orbital laboratory. Still ahead, free preschool spots just opened across San Diego Unified. What parents need to know. Plus, the San Diego Padres are facing animal cruelty charges stemming from the 2024 Padres rodeo. We have the latest on the lawsuit as it comes to town this weekend. Welcome back to you. The San Diego Padres are facing allegations of animal cruelty in court just days before Petco Park is set to host its 3rd annual rodeo. Animal rights groups filed a civil lawsuit against the C5 rodeo and the Padres. Part of the case centers on the 2024 rodeo when a horse named Waco Kid slammed into a barricade and collapsed.
There were no x-rays, no diagnostics. And then the horse was just sedated overnight and then released out the door the next morning to the owners. Well, the horse never walked again.
Yeah, the lawsuit also mentions a more recent incident where a pregnant horse died after an event. Plaintiffs are seeking to end the rodeo and hold all responsible parties accountable. However, the trial is not set to impact the rodeo, once again scheduled for this weekend. Well, now to an update on the state legislature's efforts to tackle affordable housing. We are learning a measure known as the rent cap bill will not be moving forward. It failed to pass in the Assembly Judiciary Committee for the 2nd year in a row now. The measure would have made the statewide rent cap permanent, reducing it from 10% to 5%. It would have also expanded protections to single-family homes. Well, more now on another bill that would place stricter limits on how powerful an electric bike's motor can be, and as a result, limiting how fast it can go. AB 1557 is unique because it would redefine what an e-bike is, clarifying that its motor cannot be capable of exceeding 750 watts at its peak. That is speeds reaching as high as 28 to 32 miles per hour. Depending on weight and battery. Otherwise, it would be reclassified as a motorcycle. Under this bill, riders caught using an e-bike exceeding this limit would face fines under California's vehicle code and could have their bike impounded. And a new city analysis presented to the San Diego City Council says San Diego may need to raise water rates by at least 44% by 2031. Sewer rates would increase by a total of 15%. Those increases would be on top of rate hikes that were just approved last fall. If the City Council approves the additional hikes when they come to a vote on this next year, the cumulative 6-year rate increase would be up to about 90%. Well, now to video. Ooh, that'll make your heart sink. 2 people were caught riding on top of a coaster train, and right now sheriff's deputies say they are under arrest. The video, you can imagine, has gone viral online. CBS 8's Steffi Roche spoke with witnesses who shot that video.
In the idyllic coastal town of Del Mar, a sunset crew of surfers isn't out of the ordinary. But train surfing? Yeah. That's a first.
Hi, Mom.
Yeah. At least it was for Del Mar resident TJ Wilcox, who couldn't believe what he was seeing, and he recorded this.
I saw way off the guy, a man on the train, and he was started at the engine and just ran the whole length of the train down and was jumping in between the cars. I didn't get it till he was about parallel with me. Then he sat down on the thing.
Another person can be seen laying down on top of the train.
I thought he was about to die and I'd be witnessing a death, first of all. And then I was like, maybe it's for like a movie, but there's no cameras anywhere.
Wilcox sent the video to his friend, Grayson Adams, who posted it online.
I thought it was AI at first and then posted on my Instagram, and then within hours it was, I'd never experienced anything going viral before, but it went viral.
The viral video quickly caught the attention of the sheriff's office. Deputies from the North Coastal Sheriff's Station responded to the scene Friday in Del Mar. But by the time they arrived, the 2 people on the train already climbed off and then disappeared. They were later found in Solana Beach and were arrested for trespassing on railroad property. The San Diego County Sheriff's Office confirmed that fortunately, no one was injured.
Got to draw the line somewhere and make sure your kids are smarter than that. That's just really, really stupid. And, bad things could have definitely happened.
Whew, what not to do. All right, well, a nurses union reached a tentative agreement with Sharp Healthcare after months of negotiation. The negotiation process included a 3-day nurses strike on Thanksgiving. Sharp nurses had pushed for higher wages, safer working conditions, and an updated sick leave policy. We do have more details on CBS8.com. Hey, and if you're a parent with a preschool-aged child, San Diego Unified just announced they have hundreds of preschool openings for kids 3 and under at no cost. The district says there are 271 available preschool seats at 27 schools, and that's for this year, so you can apply now and have your child start immediately. The district's preschool classes are offered in 3-hour blocks. Parents can choose a morning or afternoon session. There are 2 different programs. The California State Preschool, which is offered 5 days a week, but you need to meet certain income requirements for that one. The second program is called School Readiness, where there are 108 open seats. Attendance is 4 days a week, no income requirements necessary. For more information on how to apply, again, just head to CBS8.com for more info. And still ahead, the city of San Marcos wants to become a designated blue zone. The steps they are taking to give every resident the best chance of living to 100. Well, as we continue to take you around San Diego, yet another study is showing more people are moving out of California despite what traffic says. The U-Haul Growth Index analyzes one-way customer transactions. The latest report shows the state ranks last with the greatest out-migration for the 6th consecutive year. Experts say the high cost of living is a key factor.
It's just too expensive to live here, and so if we brought down the cost of living, I think you would probably see more people moving in. We're not in a situation in California where we're losing people because they really don't want to live here anymore. It's more just that they can't afford to live here.
The Public Policy Institute of California also says partisanship shapes the state's migration too, with those moving out of the state more likely to be Republican and those moving in more likely to be Democratic. However, in the last 3 years, get this, San Diego specifically has added more people than any other county in the state except Riverside. We feel it. Hey, and right now the city of San Marcos is working to become a certified blue zone. That is a wellness initiative focused on designing communities that make healthy living easier and help people live longer. The approach emphasizes walkable neighborhoods, access to healthy food, outdoor recreation, and stronger social connections. A team from an organization called Blue Zones will help assess the city and build a plan for change.
Finding out how we can improve everything, bringing in our community, our restaurants with healthier options, having cooking classes to teach people how to use that whole food and improve their quality of life and what they're eating, getting people out more active.
Yeah, bravo. The mayor of San Marcos says areas like North City, a walkable park-focused downtown near CSU San Marcos, is an example of the Blue Zone vision. You may have even read the book or watched the docuseries. Wow, and how about this? A major makeover is underway at Grossmont Center. Developers just finally released new details on plans for the La Mesa Mall, now entering phase 1 of a multi-year $50 million transformation. Upgrades include modern storefronts, refreshed landscaping, new outdoor seating, and facade improvements. All businesses will remain open during construction, but Macy's is permanently closing March 31st.
We think we've got something that's going to be replacing Macy's that's going to really be transformational for the entire community.
Yeah, I'm eager to know. New tenants are set to be announced in the coming months. We'll keep you posted. Shoppers can expect a grand reopening in the summer of 2028. Well, meantime, a newly renovated community space has opened at one of the City of San Diego's safe parking sites. It's at the Rose Canyon site and is aimed to give families living in their cars a more supportive environment while working toward permanent housing. The site includes 18 trailers for temporary stays, and the upgraded space now offers play areas for kids, shared gathering areas, new appliances, and charging lockers. The 4-day renovation was made possible through donations and volunteer labor from multiple organizations. Well, if you ride the Coronado Ferry, change is coming. There are new electric boats in the works. Here's Vanessa Paz with what's changing and what is staying the same.
If you've ever hopped on the Coronado Ferry, you know the ride isn't just about getting across the bay. It's part of the San Diego experience. Now, that familiar trip we all know and love is getting a major upgrade, transitioning to an all-electric fleet by fall of 2026.
It's a $15.97 million project, and Flagship itself is investing $5.5 million, so it's a public-private partnership. And we're really excited about it because it's a regional investment to zero-emission sustainable transportation.
Porchelle Worsham is with Flagship Cruises, which has owned and operated the wooden diesel-powered ferries built back in the 1940s. Those vessels, Silvergate and Cabrillo, will be replaced with 2 brand-new zero-emission electric ferries.
It will be a quieter, stable ride.
The new ferry serving Broadway Pier and the Convention Center will hold up to 275 passengers, offer more bike space, and promise a smoother ride while cutting emissions in the bay.
I have 2 levels, so the first level will be the observatory deck, and the second level will be a nice kind of beachy mahogany vibe.
And this isn't just a quick flip of the switch. Worsham says the project has been 10 years in the making, and despite concerns about rising costs, fares won't change.
So we can't just jack up the prices without talking and reaching out with the PUC because they are in control of the fares.
We also spoke with frequent riders like Rosie Montaño.
I mean, I feel like we've been needing to revamp for a long time, so it's like exciting that it's finally coming into play.
The first electric ferry will hit the water in the fall, making it the first fully electric ferry of its size in California and the country. Until then, riders can expect the same schedule and the same views with a quieter, cleaner future ahead.
It's just really about enjoying the scenic route and enjoying what San Diego has to offer.
Yeah.
Vanessa Paz there, thank you. Hey, well, recent rain is making a big difference here in San Diego. Coming up, we're taking a closer look at how that rain is impacting conditions across the county in an Earth 8 report. Well, following 6 consecutive days of rain to start the year, San Diego is finally dry again. But how did all of that rain change conditions across the county? Evan Narani has the answer in this Earth 8 report.
In lockstep with Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve celebrations, rain returned to San Diego County with a vengeance, leading to record-breaking daily totals and palm fronds littering the ground.
We're gonna have to break out our ponchos and everything and, hope for the best.
5 cities in the county recorded their wettest New Year's Day on record, including San Diego and Chula Vista, and unsurprisingly led to flooding in Fashion Valley along the San Diego River.
That was moving very, very powerfully.
I don't think people really expect the city to be this way, but in parts of the city it definitely is.
Despite our previous water year ending with about a 40% deficit, our new water year, which began October 1st, now shows a huge surplus that will help us out with drought conditions. Our latest drought monitor now shows none of the state of California is classified as abnormally dry. It's the first time in 25 years that has happened. So what about the sprinklers that you turned off during the rain? Experts say if you have good soil, you can probably keep them off until next week at least. Beyond that, you'll start to notice some stress on your grass.
Waiting until plants are begging for water is a problem. Don't wait for them to be wilting and drought stressed.
Back in 2023, our Sean Stiles spoke with a landscape expert at Walter Anderson Nursery on how to keep your lawn protected.
If you soak them well, most plants that are established, that have been in the ground for more than 2 summers, will only need to be watered once or 1.5 times per week.
And with dry skies sticking around in the forecast this week, we would still need rainfall similar to last week in months ahead to keep our fire danger low through the spring and summer.
All right, Evan, thank you. I enjoyed that rain and the sunshine as well. One last thing to note, the Padres are hiring. They are taking applications for seasonal jobs at Petco Park. That includes event crew, guest services, raffle sales, security, and the Pod Squad. Perks may include game tickets and discounts. You can visit the website. They're on your screen to apply. Boy, that would be a fun job, right? All right, well, that will do it for us. Thank you for your time. As always, thank you for staying informed. For CBS 8, I'm Jenny Day. Take such good care. Thanks for watching.